Shalom and greetings, everybody. Brother Nicholas James Vanderlane, victory for the people of Israel from by the narrow path, which are the 10 commandments. Today is the 20th day of the 6th month on Elohim Zadok Priest, Dead Sea Scroll, Enoch Solar Calendar, September 7th, 2019. So in a couple of days, we have the Festival of New Oil coming up, which is the last Firstfruits festival of the year. This video is titled The Rapture Door, The Great Escape, and the Coming Second Exodus. Here's a screenshot of my Enoch Solar Calendar. It's a shared spreadsheet. You can go to enochcalendar.com to access this. Here we are here on the 20th day of the 6th month, September 7th in 2019. Tomorrow is the Sabbath, and tomorrow is a very significant day. It is the last day that Ezekiel laid on his side for 430 days. He laid on his side first 390 days for Israel, and then the last 40 days was for Judah. And the following day leads us to the Festival of New Oil. I did a video on this. This is new to the body of Messiah, having this understanding on how it lays out and it counts. So hallelujah, we have this. But this is the last First Fruits festival of the season, and you'll see in this video that we are First Fruits. So we are watching for that day. This video, I want to talk about the Rapture Door. Come up here. Yeshua said, I am the door. By me, if any man enter in, he shall be saved, and shall go in and out and find pasture. And we're going to talk about what John saw in Revelation chapter 4, and also a lot of the other doors here in this video. In my last video, Feast of New Oil Rapture, September 9th, 2019, question mark, I touched on a concept of the Rapture Door. And I'm going to elaborate on the significance. So to continue on with the door, we're going to be looking at all the places and the types of the rapture door in this video. And here we see in Revelation chapter 4, verse 1 and 2, the door. And to quote, after this, which is the messages that went to the 7 churches, I, John, looked, and behold, a door was opened in heaven. And the voice which I heard was as it were of a trumpet talking with me, which said, come up hither, and I will show thee things which must be hereafter. And so here you can see the concept of this rapture door that was opened in heaven. Here is an artist rendition of Peter praying on the rooftop in Jaffa, because that's where prayer is made. It says, in that day, he which shall be upon the housetop, and his stuff in the house, let him not come down to take it away. And he that is in the field, let him likewise not return back. So, how can a person on the housetop and let him not come down to get his stuff? Well, that means that the rapture door must be appeared to this person or those people in heaven. So I understand this to be a door that's going to open up in heaven, which is the rapture. This is where Messiah Yeshua will meet us in the clouds. We see similar verses about not coming down from the rooftop in Matthew 24:17 and Mark 13:15. That might relate to the same period or might relate to time halfway through. We'll see. In John chapter 10, Yeshua the Good Shepherd, he says that he is the door. Verily, verily, I say unto you, he that entereth not by the door into the sheepfold, but climbeth up some other way, the same is a thief and a robber. But he that entereth in by the door is the shepherd of the sheep. To him the porter openeth, and the sheep hear his voice, and he calleth his own sheep by name, and leadeth them out. And when he putteth forth his own sheep, he goeth before them, and the sheep follow him, for they know his voice. And a stranger they will not follow, but will flee from him, for they know not the voice of strangers. This parable Yeshua spoke unto them, but they understood not what these things they were which he spake unto them. Then Yeshua said unto them again, verily, verily, I say unto you, I am the door of the sheep. All of that ever came before me are thieves and robbers, but the sheep did not hear them. I am the door. By me, if any man enter in, he shall be saved, and shall go in and out and find pasture. The thief cometh not, but for to steal, and to kill, and to destroy. I am come that they might have life, and they might have it more abundantly. Life here on earth more abundantly. Who comes to kill, steal, and destroy? Well, we know that's Ha-Satan. He's coming to kill, steal, and destroy. He is the thief. If we know when the thief comes, we would have watched, Yeshua said. Now, this is very important here. To him the porter openeth. the porter guards the gate. And as I've proven in my Revelation 12 sign equals Elijah video, I talked about this, but I believe that this porter is also the good steward that Yeshua talked about. He's also the faithful servant. And that this porter in the millennial reign, he is the prince of the millennial reign. And the millennial reign is going to be a co-regency. Messiah Yeshua, he is going to be the king and high priest over the unified kingdom of Israel and the rest of the world. And underneath him, he will make a co-regent, just as Joseph was a co-regent in Egypt, and as Daniel was a co-regent, I believe, in either Babylon and or Persia. So we'll see Yeshua is going to create a co-regency, and that person is going to be an Ephraimite. So he's going to be also the messenger to Ephraim of Isaiah 28, and his message is going to be the 10 Commandments with an emphasis on the Sabbath. Line upon line, that's 2. Line upon line, that's 4. Precept upon precept, that's 6. Precept upon precept, that's 8. Here a little, that's 9. And there a little, that's 10. And with stammering lips and another tongue, he's not going to speak the Hebrew language. He's going to speak with his people, ask them, call them to repentance, but they're not going to take heed to his voice, yet they would fall and be stumbled over the 10 Commandments, but they don't want that message. So that's the same message of the Ezekiel 33 watchman. The Ezekiel 33 watchman, which is the porter. So Yeshua is the door. Speaking of the rapture door, here in Luke chapter 17, we see the coming kingdom. And when he was demanded of the Pharisees, when the kingdom of Elohim should come, he answered them and said, the kingdom of Elohim cometh not with observation, neither shall they say, lo here or lo there. For behold, the kingdom of Elohim is within you. It's within us. It's right here in front of our eyes. Are we going to be able to see the spiritual realm when this event happens? Like Elisha opened up the eyes around him so they could see all of the angels around them. Is the kingdom of Elohim going to open up where we now have access into this dimension where we can see it? Remember, Elijah and Elisha, they both had the miracles of oil. And Yeshua said unto the disciples, the days will come when ye shall desire to see one of the days of the Son of Man, and ye shall not see it. And they shall say to you, see here, or see there. Go not after them, nor follow them. For as the lightning light that lighteth out of the one part under heaven shineth unto the other part of heaven, so shall also the Son of Man be in his day. But first, he must suffer many things, and be rejected of this generation. And as it was in the days of Noah, so shall it also be in the days of the Son of Man. Now, this Elijah type is possibly what I believe the lowercase Son of Man. Yeshua, the Messiah, is the uppercase Son of Man. This is my best understanding. So they did eat, they drank, they married wives, they were given in marriage until the day that Noah entered into the ark, and the flood came and destroyed them all. Likewise, as in the days of Lot, they did eat, they drank, they bought, they sold, they planted, they builded. But that same day that Lot went out of Sodom, it rained fire and brimstone from heaven and destroyed them all. Even thus shall it be in the day when the Son of Man is revealed. In that day, he which shall be upon the housetop, and his stuff in the house, let him not come down to take it away. Right? He's up there praying, possibly. And he that is in the field, let him likewise not return back. Remember, I think it was Isaac. He was there praying in the field when Rebecca came. We know that Peter, he prayed on the rooftop in Jaffa, and we're called to pray in the morning and in the evening, sunrise and sunset, and also at midday. That's when Daniel prayed, David prayed, midday. So they're praying. Remember Lot's wife. Whosoever shall seek his life to save it shall lose it, and whoever shall lose his life shall preserve it. I tell you, in that night shall 2 men be in one bed. One shall be taken, and the other shall be left. 2 women shall be grinding together. One shall be taken, the other left. 2 men shall be in the field. One shall be taken, the other left. And they answered and said unto him, where, master? And he said unto them, wheresoever the body is, thither will the eagles be gathered together. Are we going to be on eagle's wings, up in the sky soaring with our master as he takes us to Jerusalem, to Zion? Who knows? But I want to get back to something that I saw here. Some commonality here between Lot and Noah. Lot and Noah's stories both had judgment but they both also had a door, and they both had an escape through a door. Noah's door was shut in by Yahweh. He was put in the ark, and Yahweh shut the door, and then it rained 40 days and 40 nights. That's the Son of Man. And Lot was pulled back in, the two angels, and shut the door on the men of Sodom who wanted to hurt Lot. So he was pulled in, and then the angels took Lot out through the door and led them to safety. So in and out. Yeshua, remember, he says, I am the door. By me, if any man enter in, he shall be saved, and shall go in and out and find pasture. Is this rapture escape event the transplant to the mountains of Israel and Mount Zion? In Luke chapter 21, verse 36, Yeshua said, watch ye then in every season, praying that ye may be accounted worthy to escape all these things that are about to come to pass, and to stand before the Son of Man. Finding pasture reminds me of Revelation chapter 7, verse 17. Quote, for the Lamb which is in the midst of the throne shall feed them, and shall lead them unto fountains of living waters. Also, we see in Ezekiel 34 the coming prince, the servant David type, and the restoration of real Israel, which I will touch on coming up. In 1 Thessalonians chapter 4, verse 13 to 18, but this is Paul writing to us, but I would not have you to be ignorant, brethren, concerning them which are asleep, that ye sorrow not, even as others which have no hope. For if we believe that Yeshua died and rose again, even so them also which sleep in Yeshua will Elohim bring with him. For this we say unto you by the word of Yahweh, that we which are alive and remain until the coming of the Master shall not prevent them which are asleep. For the Master himself shall descend from heaven with a shout, the voice of an archangel, and with the trump of Eloah, and the dead in Christ shall rise first. Then we which are alive and remain shall be caught up together with them in the clouds to meet the Master in the air, and so shall we ever be with the Master. Wherefore comfort one another with these words. So here again, here's that picture of a man praying on the roof and the rapture door. Where's the rapture door? Where did John see the rapture door? He saw the rapture door in the sky, in the heavens. So in the clouds, in the air, and this is where we will meet the Master in the air. Well, heaven's possibly coming to earth is what it looks like. Now the dead in Christ are going to rise first, and as you see, they are the first fruits. So here we have a word search for first fruits in the New Testament. I'm sure there's probably a couple other places that speak or shadow the first fruits. But this is where the word first fruits appears in the writings of the Renewed Covenant, the Brit Hadashah, or the New Testament. And you can look at all these places of the first fruits. We should be a kind of first fruits of his creatures. So we are a kind of a first fruits of his creatures. But every man in his order. Christ the first fruits, afterward they that are Christ at his coming. So Messiah Yeshua was the first fruits, and afterward they that are Christ at his coming, and this is where we're going to meet him in the air, and I believe possibly transplanted to Zion and Israel. We'll see. And not only they, but ourselves also, which have the first fruits of the Spirit, even we ourselves groan within ourselves, waiting for the adoption, to wit, the redemption of our body. And then down here in Revelation chapter 14, verse 4, we're going to revisit this verse in a couple of slides. This is pertaining to the 144,000 Israelites. These are they which were not defiled with women, for they are virgins. These are they which followed the Lamb whithersoever he goeth. These were redeemed from among men, being the firstfruits unto Elohim and to the Lamb. So in Revelation chapter 7, we see the 144,000 sealed, and then we see the group of the great multitude. We see two different groups. The 144,000, which were sealed, 144,000. They were sealed and sealed. Okay, so they got a second sealing. And then for the great multitude, they are given white garments. And one of the elders saying unto me, what are these arrayed in white robes, and whence came they? And I said unto him, Sir, thou knowest. And he said unto me, These are which came out of great tribulation, and have washed their robes, and made them white in the blood of the Lamb. Therefore are they before the throne of Elohim, and serve him day and night in his temple, and he that sitteth on the throne shall dwell among them. They shall hunger no more, neither shall they thirst any more, neither shall the sun light on them, nor any heat. For the Lamb which is in the midst of the throne shall feed them, and shall lead them unto fountains of living water. And Elohim shall wipe away all tears from their eyes. So this is interesting right here. In Revelation chapter 14, regarding the 144,000 and the Lamb, and I looked, and lo, a Lamb stood on Mount Zion, and with them 144,000, having his Father's name written in their foreheads. That's that second seal. And I heard a voice from heaven, as the voice of many waters, as the voice of great thunder, and I heard the voice of harpers harping with their harps. And they sung, as it were, a new song before the throne. So the Lamb's at Mount Zion, and here's a song before the throne. And before the four beasts and the elders, and no man could learn that song but the 144,000, which were redeemed from the earth. These are they which were not defiled with women, for they are virgins. These are they which follow the Lamb whatsoever he goeth. These were redeemed from among men, being the firstfruits unto Elohim and to the Lamb. And in their mouth was found no guile, for they are without fault before the throne of Elohim. So here we see it that they are the first fruits. The 144,000 are the first fruits. And the last of the first fruits festivals of the year is the first fruit festival of new oil. It's found in the temple scroll. Take a look at this graphic real quick. So the first fruits festivals start with the barley wave sheaf offering. That's the first fruits of the barley. Then you count 7 Sabbaths, and you get the first, and then the following day, which on the first day of the week is the first fruits of wheat, which is the Feast of Weeks or Shavuot. Then you count 7 Sabbaths from Shavuot, and the following day is the 50th day, and that's the festival of new wine. We see that in the Judges chapter 21. And then from the festival of new wine, we count 7 Sabbaths, and the following day is the 50th day, and that brings us to the festival of new oil. This is not mentioned in the Western canon. It is mentioned in the temple scroll found in Qumran of the Zadok priests. So it is a hidden festival to most people that are unaware of the festival of new oil. So we see that they're in Zion, and here in Ezekiel 34, which is after 33, the message of the watchman, we see the good shepherd. And let's go ahead and read about the good shepherd, and we're going to see that it parallels or what looks like the second Exodus. For thus saith Yahweh Elohim, behold, I, even I, will both search my sheep and seek them out, as a shepherd seeketh out his flock. In the day that he is among his sheep that are scattered, so will I seek out my sheep, and will deliver them out of all the places where they have been scattered in the cloudy and dark day. And I will bring them out from the people, and gather them from the countries, and will bring them to their own land. So they're not in Israel right now. And feed them upon the mountains of Israel by the rivers, and in all the inhabited places of the country. I will feed them in a good pasture, and upon the high mountains of Israel shall their fold be. There shall they lie in a good fold, and in a fat pasture shall they feed upon the mountains of Israel. And I will feed my flock, and I will cause them to lie down, saith Yahweh Elohim. And I will seek that which was lost, and bring again that which was driven away, and will bind up that which was broken, and will strengthen that which was sick. But I will destroy the fat and the strong. I will feed them with judgment. So here we could see that he's going to feed them and lead them in fat pasture. Remember what Yeshua said in John chapter 10. I am the door. By me, if any man shall enter in, he shall be saved, and shall go in and out and find pasture. So we see that here in Ezekiel 34. And we're going to skip right down here. And I will set up one shepherd over them. He shall feed them, even my servant David. He shall feed them, and he shall be their shepherd. And I, Yahweh, will be their Elohim, and my servant David a prince among them. I, Yahweh, have spoken it. So this is either a resurrected King David or this servant, the faithful servant that Yeshua spoke about, who is the coming Elijah type. So I believe that that's who King Yeshua is going to set up as his co-regent, the King David servant type. Remember, in Psalm 23, it says, "Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I shall fear no evil, for you are with me. Your rod and your staff, they comfort me." Now, the rod and the staff is going to be given. It's prophesied in Genesis, as I said in my Revelation 12 equals Elijah's coming video. The rod and the staff will not depart from Judah until Shiloh comes. Shiloh is the law. Shiloh also means law. That word Shiloh is probably better translated lawgiver, and that's the Ten Commandment giver, who is the John the Baptist type, who is the Elijah type, who is to come before the great and dreadful day of Yahweh. So this is the King David type, and this person is also the prodigal son. He returns back, and he's given the coat of many colors, which is Joseph. This person's an Ephraimite. He's the messenger to Ephraim. And I, Yahweh, will be there, and my servant David, a prince among them. I, Yahweh, have spoken it. This is the prince in Ezekiel later chapters of Ezekiel in the millennial temple. This person offers sin sacrifice because he's a sinner. And then a new covenant is made right here in Ezekiel chapter 34. This has not happened. This has not happened with the modern state of Israel, because the modern state of Israel is illegitimate according to the scriptures. The covenant of peace, there will be a new covenant, or possibly a renewed covenant, and I will make with them a covenant of peace, and will cause the evil beasts to cease out of the land, and they shall dwell safely in the wilderness and sleep in the woods. So there will be a new covenant being made coming up. So a new dispensation, you can say, but you're always justified by faith. So faith transcends all dispensations. You've always been justified by faith. You've never been justified by keeping up with the sacrificial law. Nobody could keep it. Okay? A woman would have to go every period after she was cleansed to go offer doves, turtle doves in the temple after every period, every month. How could she possibly do that if she's living in northern Israel, to get down there every single month and take that journey every month to do that? It's like impossible to keep. Okay? So there'll be a new covenant of peace that's going to be cut. Hallelujah. And we see that remnant in Zion that I talked about here in Isaiah chapter 4. In that day, 7 women shall take hold of one man, saying, "We will eat our own bread and wear our own apparel. Only let us be called by thy name to take away our reproach." Some people have speculated that these 7 women are representatives of the 7 churches. I would believe that these 7 women are 7 literal women. Like David, he had 8 wives. So more than likely, this person probably is married. He's going to get 7 more wives. Polygyny has always been acceptable and permissible in the Torah. And had the church been aware of polygyny this whole time and not adopted Western marriage, it would have saved a lot of people from hellfire and a lot of marriage relationships as well, because people had not married their perfect match mate. Yeshua preached, he said, whoever divorces his wife and marries another, that person, that man, commits adultery. So if a man was in a difficult marriage with a woman that wasn't the right personality match for that person per se, the solution isn't divorce. The solution is finding a second wife or a third wife, whatever the man is given. It says, whoever finds a wife finds a good thing, gains favor from Yahweh. So with that being said, this could be like a King David type, like I said, because we're talking about my servant King David. King David had 8 wives, so this person's probably going to have 8 wives as well. In that day shall the branch of Yahweh be beautiful and glorious, and the fruit of the earth shall be excellent and comely for them that are escaped of Israel. Not in Israel, but of Israel. The lost tribes of Israel, scattered throughout the 4 corners of the earth. And it shall come to pass that he that is left in Zion, and he that remaineth in Jerusalem, shall be called holy, even every one that is among them living in Jerusalem. I want to draw our attention to the branch right here. That reminded me of Zechariah 3 verse 8 and Zechariah chapter 6 verse 3. Hear now, O Joshua the high priest, thou and thy fellows that sit before thee, for they are men wondered at. Behold, I will bring forth my servant the branch. So this is that Isaiah servant, that end-time servant, that Elijah-type servant. Zechariah chapter 6 verse 3, and speak unto him, saying, Thus speaketh Yahweh of hosts, saying, Behold, the man whose name is the branch, and he shall grow up out of his place, and he shall build the temple of Yahweh. So I think that this end-time Elijah type, not only is he a Zerubbabel type, but he's also a Joshua type, and he will be supported by Yeshua, or Yahushai, or Yahushua, Joshua, Messiah. This is just my understanding that's in progress. In Nehemiah, when they came back from the exile, they rolled lots, or people volunteered to live in Jerusalem. 1 out of every 10 were in Jerusalem. It was a tithe. So this event of this 144,000 could be a tithe of the people. But they're the ones that are going to be living in Jerusalem. We see that in the book of Nehemiah, that 1 out of every 10, a tenth, a tithe, went to live in Jerusalem. So they shall be called holy, every one that is written among the living in Jerusalem. Not the dead, but the living. When Yahweh shall have washed away the filth of the daughters of Zion, and shall have purged the blood of Jerusalem from the midst thereof by the spirit of judgment, and by the spirit of burning. This judgment coming to Jerusalem, I did a video on it, warning to Israel the sin of eating blood. This is to the current state of Israel, which isn't the true Israel. But in this video, I explained to them that they eat with the blood. They do not boil the blood out of their flesh that they eat, and that they have perversed Yahweh's word, and that they are going to be judged it's going to be like a pot that is fired in the fire, and it's going to be turned upside down, and all the scum, the blood scum of Jerusalem, is going to be burned up. And Yahweh will create upon every dwelling place of Mount Zion, and upon her assemblies, a cloud of smoke by day. This is like the Exodus, and the shining of a flame of fire by night. For upon all the glory shall be a defense. So there's going to be a defense there during this tribulation period, it looks like. And there shall be a tabernacle for a shadow in the daytime from the heat, and for a place of refuge, and for a covert from storm and from rain. So this is the second Exodus, but they're now on the mountains of Israel, dwelling in Jerusalem, that there is a defense around this city. The two witnesses will probably be on the outside, and we'll see this established, heaven probably coming to earth during this tribulation period in the beginning of the millennial reign. We see this because we see Yeshua on Zion with the 144,000. And this verse in Isaiah 4 about being in Zion fits with Jeremiah 8:19-20, which I did a video on about 3 weeks ago. Jeremiah 8:19-20, Behold, the voice of the cry of the daughter of my people from a land afar off. Is not Yahweh in Zion? Is not her king in her? Why have they provoked me with their graven images and with strange vanities? The harvest is past, the summer is ended, and we are not saved. So this video is about all those who missed out on this event because the king is in Zion with the 144,000. They missed out because of their graven images and their strange vanities, creating Yahweh, Elohim, in their own image, changing his laws and replacing them with their own ideas, creating spiritual idolatry in their own mind, spiritual fornication in their own mind. They are not saved. And then sometime after this, during this event, I believe when Israel has been regathered back, because we saw that in Ezekiel chapter 34, we then we'll see the events of Ezekiel 35 or 36, 37, and 38. And 39. But it won't happen. I don't think Ezekiel 38 and 39 is going to happen until Ezekiel chapter 37 happens first, which is when real Israel has been regathered. I don't believe that those are going to, even though it looks like it could have possibly apply now. I think there's going to be one big nuclear war battle probably, and then Israel's going to be regathered at this time, and then they'll be there in Mount Zion, unwalled villages, and then Satan is going to, the adversary is going to come and try to attack us there. In Zechariah 8, in those days it shall come to pass that 10 men shall take hold out of the languages of the nations, and shall take hold of the skirt of him that is a Jew, saying, we will go with you, for we have heard that Elohim is with you. Now this word is Yahudi, it's not Israelite, so there's something interesting that's going to happen here as well. I don't know what it is, but there is going to be a restoration of Jerusalem. So regarding the remnant in Zion and this day, that there's going to be a cloud and smoke by day and a shining and flaming fire by night, for upon all the glory shall be a defense. And there shall be a tabernacle for a shadow in the daytime for the heat, and for a place of refuge, and for a covert from storm and from rain. So what we see is, again, this is this second Exodus. This reminded me of a prophecy of Ezekiel in Ezekiel chapter 20, where he's going to be pleading with us face to face. And Moses was seen face to face, and I believe this Elijah type, he's going to be coming before the great dreadful day of Yahweh, and he's supposed to remember the law of Moses. So there's going to be this Moses encounter. As I live, saith Yahweh Elohim, surely with a mighty hand and with a stretched out arm, with fury poured out, will I rule over you. And I will bring you out from the people, and will gather you out of the countries wherein ye are scattered, and with a mighty hand and with a stretched out arm, and with fury poured out. And I will bring you into the wilderness of the people, and there will I plead with you face to face, like as I pleaded with your fathers in the wilderness of the land of Egypt. So I will plead with you, saith Yahweh Elohim, and I will cause you to pass under the rod, and I will bring you into the bond of the covenant, which the rod departs from Judah and is given to Joseph or to Ephraim when Shiloh, the lawgiver, comes. And I will bring you into the bond of the covenant. We see the new bond that's going to be made in Ezekiel chapter 34 with the King David servant type. And I will purge out from among you the rebels and them that trespassed against me. So who are the rebels and the trespassers against them? Those that don't want to keep the 10 commandments, including the seventh-day Sabbath. And I will bring them forth out of the country where they sojourn, and they shall not enter into the land of Israel. And ye shall know that I am Yahweh. As for you, O house of Israel, thus saith Yahweh Elohim, go ye, serve ye every one his idols, and hereafter also, if ye will not hearken unto me, but pollute ye my holy name no more with your gifts and with your idols. For in my holy mountain, in the mountain of the height of Israel, saith Yahweh Elohim, there shall all the house of Israel, all of them in the land, serve me. There will I accept them, and there will I require your offerings and the first fruits of your oblations with all your holy things. I will accept you with sweet savor when I bring you out from the people and gather you out of the countries where you have been scattered, and I will be sanctified in you before the heathen. And ye shall know that I am Yahweh when I shall bring you into the land of Israel, into the country for which I lifted up my hand to give it to your fathers. And there shall you remember your ways and all your doings, wherein ye have been defiled. And ye shall loathe yourselves in your own sight for all your evils that ye have committed. And ye shall know that I am Yahweh, when I have wrought with you for my name's sake, not according to your wicked ways, nor according to your corrupt doings, O ye house of Israel, saith Yahweh Elohim. So Yahweh is going to show mercy to Ephraim, to Joseph, according to Amos chapter 5, verse 15. When the judgment comes, there will be some mercy in that judgment, but judgment is coming because of the idolatry, because they have of their evils that they have committed. They've not followed through on their covenant, on the renewed covenant, which Yeshua renewed it with us to bring us into the covenant of the 10 commandments. They have not done it. They have committed idolatry, which is breaking the 10 commandments. They made Elohim in their own image of their own mind, which is spiritual idolatry, spiritual fornication. They've been breaking they turned their back on the Sabbath to sanctify this day. 100 years ago, Christians used to keep the Sabbath. Nowadays, no one wants to keep the Sabbath holy. They go, we will go to Sunday, then we're going to go to the shopping mall. We're going to go out to eat dinner and all this. And then when people that have this understanding now are coming to the understanding, no one's born with this understanding. We come into it. We want to choose a life sanctified to our Savior, because he said, he taught, he who is forgiven little loves little. He who has been forgiven much loves much. And he said, if you love me, keep my commandments. So they're supposed to be done out of love, but people want to omit the commandments. They want to, but they don't have any authority to change these commandments, because this is the eternal law of the Most High. So there is going to be judgment coming on Israel. Not only not keeping the 10 Commandments, but then they didn't take any type of note of how they treated their servants, how they treated their slaves. They were sojourners in the land, how they treat the sojourners that dwell among them. There's going to be an eye-opening event for Israel. So with that being said, brothers and sisters, be on the lookout for the door, the escape, the door that's going to open in heaven. Watch ye then in every season, praying that you may be accounted worthy to escape all these things that are about to come to pass, and to stand before the Son of Man. This is our escape. This door won't appear to every single person. And again, if it appears to you, you cannot look back like Lot's wife. You can't say, oh, my job, oh, my wife, oh, my husband, oh, my adult children, oh, this and that. No, you have to go through the door. If you look back, it's too late. You're going to turn to salt, just like Lot's wife did. You're going to die and perish here. If you want to save your life, you're going to lose your life. You're going to go through the door when it opens and appears to you. And Yahweh willing, see you there on Mount Zion. So I'm signing off, and I hope you're blessed with this video. And shalom.